Homework 6. This is your first assignment dealing with classes. And it's a tic-tac-toe game. However, you will only worry about creating the tic-tac-toe board structure and check if the game is over and clear the game for each game after each game, okay? And then you will display the tic-tac-toe board to screen. And when you simulate one game, you will only simulate that the board is full, meaning X or O go first, and then you just alternate until the board is full. That is, until 9 spots are selected, okay? How are we going to accomplish this? Okay, so please think simple, okay? So we know that a tic-tac-toe board is played on a 3x3 grid, but we don't have to get complicated with this. Okay, so let's go here to Onenote, and we know that a board for tic-tac-toe has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 slots. However, recall that in programming, we always start at 0. So when you're dealing with the vector, remember the vector is a list, and you will use a vector of string, and it's named pegs. It starts at 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the user selects 1, and then you have to subtract 1 to start at 0. And if the user selects 9, then you subtract 1, and then it's this spot, okay? So, and so forth and so forth. So keep that in mind. Let's go back to the instructions. Okay, so we have some instructions here, some functions you create. So recall from our lectures, plus means public access specifier, and minus means private. So as you can see, you have to define some functions. Public function that returns bool, it's named game over, and then it's telling you here what to do. Okay, so there's no parameters for this function, and then you return checkboard full function. What is the checkboard full function? So if you keep on scrolling down, then you'll see that it's a private function, check bool, and then it tells you what to do. Return false if vector of string pegs has available slot. And how do we do this? We check if there's an available slot by simply looping through the vector of strings and checking if there's a space. And if there's a space, you return false because it's not full yet. And if there's no space, then you return true because it's full yet, okay? And you will do the same thing for other functions. Like for example, start game, void start game. Notice here it's a string player. And the arguments are X or O, a string, not a character, okay? String, please use string. In function, set player, this is a private variable, to first player. What's first player? This, okay? So if we scroll down, notice you have a private data string player. So we're saying here, set player equals to first player. And then you call the clear board function. What is the clear board function? You scroll down and you simply loop through all elements and set each element's value to a space, okay? Don't copy this into your program because it'll fail. Use shift and then the double quote, space and then shift double quote to type this, okay? Then you come down and you do the next function, which is get player. And it is a const function. Recall I talked about those in class. And you simply return the player variable. So this variable, you return it. And then we go on and display board. This one, notice no parameters before I forget, and display board also has no parameters. Okay. Let me jump back. I think I missed mark board. Okay, so mark board here, notice it has position, and with this one you have to keep this in mind. So if the user selects, the user is going to see this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. We're going to keep this behind the scenes. So when the user selects an entry, we have to subtract 1. So the user is going to provide us position, and then we mark the vector with position -1. And how do you mark a vector? You let me see, mark vector with position equal to player. So here you would say, let me see, I can't type here, but let me write it over here. So mark vector with position. Say your vector is pegs, so then you would say pegs of position -1 equal player. Okay, player, we keep track of it, and you'll see how. Why do I say player? Because the next instruction here is set, call set next player. So in set next player, it is a private function, so it's saying if private variable player x is O, if private variable player x, then set to O. Okay, what am I saying here? If private variable player x, player is O. Okay, so if player equals x, then set player equals to O. Else set player equals to x. Okay. And then what else do we have? Well, you need the vector string of pegs, and recall that we have to initialize to 9 values of spaces. And let me make sure that I show you how to do that here. Let me scroll down if I have a tip here. I don't think I have a tip for that, but I can show you right now. So we can come back here, and to create the vector, let me add another page. You would say, I'll also make sure you include vector, okay? Vector of string pegs, 9 of them, space, so double quote space. So this creates a vector or a list of 9 strings with a space in them. And this pegs right here is the list we will use to keep track of this. It's just a list from 1 through 9. So we will see it like this, okay? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Well, actually we don't need that one, right? Because 8 is 9. And that's how we will see it, although we will manipulate it to be like this. So when you are going to output, you want to output 3 at a time for to display the board, right? So this is what we want to display. So we do 3 at a time. So make sure you write some conditions that for every third entry, you create a new line, and then another new line over here. Okay, so please make sure you do that. And let me see, for test cases, create one test case. We start off easy, right? So you create an instance of TicTacToe game. You call the start game function with x as the first player, and call board 9 times using position numbers 1 to 9. It is probably better if you use positions that will not net gain a user. That way in the future, in next week's assignment or the following, we can simply change this one to the tie user test case. Okay. Let me see what else. I think that's it. If you have questions, post them on the board. Okay. Thank you.